Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today on Fans with Bands, we are talking to Mark Lavengood. Check it out. Hey, this is Chuck with Fans with Bands, and I am talking to Mark Lavengood and fans Jacob and Steve. How are you guys doing?
All good.
Doing well. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
Excellent. It is so good to see you guys. Like, I know it's virtual, but it's still really cool because I've never actually met Jacob. I've met Steve before over at Manchester Underground, and Mark, the very first time I met you, got this huge hug with Jason Denny, and I didn't even know you.
At the Chelsea Ale House, most likely. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was great. So it's really good to see you guys, even if it's virtual. It's still fun.
Yeah, guys. Indeed.
Yeah. So I'd like to kind of start things off with the fans to find out, like, how did they become fans of Mark Lavengood? So Steve, let's start with you.
Well, I'm fortunate enough to, I've seen Mark play several times, and actually I'm on the tech crew at the Ark. So I've worked for you, Mark, several times, and I've just been amazed every time that I see you play. I really love your style, and your energy.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Steve, were you working at the show when they had the Dobros?
No, I didn't do that. It's funny. I was sitting here trying to figure out exactly what show it is, and I think probably about 4 years ago, the first time I saw you, it was maybe Erin Zindle's holiday show that she puts on. That, and then with the Flatbellys.
Nice. Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Jacob, how about you, man?
Oh, also, definitely familiar with them through the Flatbellys. First time I saw you live was with the Flatbellys. It was at Rob Ryder's house in his basement.
Yeah.
The Mime.
Yeah.
He had one of those basement shows. That was like a little bit before he left the band. And then also, like, early on, I ordered a vinyl record off of the Lindsay Lou website, thinking it was a Lindsay Lou album, and it showed up, and it was No Part of Nothing.
Oh, that's awesome.
So then I was like, oh, what's this? And I listened to that, and I was, it wasn't what I thought I was ordering, but I was, I was still very pleased with it. It's got Billy Strings singing what Bluegrass is and everything on there. That's a great album, Been into that ever since. So cool.
That's cool.
Oh yeah. Right on.
And we've got another fan joined, Rick. Rick, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Chuck. How are you?
I am fantastic. So I've started things off by checking in with the fans to find out how they became a fan of Mark Lavengood. So you came at the opportune time. How did you become a fan?
Well, it's actually through you, of course.
Awesome.
Hey, Mark, it's good to meet you.
Yeah, Rick, back at you, buddy.
This is, it was at the old ale house before they moved, a Wednesday night show that Mark was doing.
With like Jason Denny, or it might have been that Bluegrass Bonanza or something like that.
I think it was.
One of the Wednesdays we were filling in for Thunderwood or something. Yeah.
Yep.
It was a while ago. And I'm, I wasn't familiar with your music at all. And I first sat in and was watching at the ale house. I was just blown away. I just thought, wow, man, it was your command of your instruments is just amazing, and it just, you can't help but be a fan after hearing you live. It was great.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that, man. That's lovely.
Sure.
Cool. So, Mark, I know that it's been tough for lots of musicians right now because you can't do shows, you can't tour. So, how have you been weathering the pandemic storm of 2020?
Yeah, it's been a wild year for everyone, of course. And, every artist
Right.
has, their own sort of projects that they're involved with and, personal lives. So it's just really different for everyone. Me and my partner and our 2 kids, we recently moved to Coral, Michigan, near Sand Lake and Cedar Springs, Howard City area, just north of Grand Rapids. And, previously I'd been renting. So we were like moving every year, moved like 7 times in the last 5
Right.
years. And so it was nice to not have to do that anymore. And we've got plenty of projects around the house and the homestead. I've been doing some live streams as well. There's been a select amount of outdoor, socially distant, physically distant, rather, shows that have come through, but largely, just surviving on minimal amount of gig pandemic unemployment, but that's run out. So now we're kind of just, weathering it all. I've simultaneously been building out my home recording studio, which is going to be, it's almost finished. And it's operable.
Oh, cool.
I'm actually taking a break from recording some tracks with a really great glam rock band out of Grand Rapids called Desmond Jones. You guys should totally check them out.
Cool.
I'm playing on 5 of their tracks for their upcoming album. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but yeah. So I'm working in it now. It's been months and thousands of dollars investment. Into the space, but it'll be really great for my activity as a player, just practicing and writing and collaborating remotely. There's actually a list of different things that I could be doing as an artist that can simultaneously be bringing me in, revenue working remotely, but you got to have the means, to record in an isolated sound space that can get professional quality recording, so it's I've kind of been getting by for the last few years doing a home studio sort of thing. But now I've converted the shed. It was this old garage. The dude who lived here before worked on cars and stuff. And so I insulated it and soundproofed it, got, a control room, isolation booth, in a live room, and it's just in my backyard now. So at any hour of the day I can go and record. I can practice.
Awesome.
I can write, in the house is plenty big, but it's just hard to, get the space when you got 2 young kids. We got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And it's actually getting easier now, but the last few years have been pretty challenging on that front. But we're about to have a little more comfort in our work and life setup. So it's
cool.
It's going pretty good, all things considered. We've been mostly just hunkering down at home, and Carrie, actually, my partner, just got a new job working at Spectrum, so that's kind of been another transformation within the family unit. But it's been great, man, because previously I'd just been a workaholic, and and Carrie was largely the caretaker for the kids while I was working, and she would have her gig. She teaches yoga as well. So she does that kind of part-time, sometimes more than others, depending on the season. But yeah, it's nice to have solid dedicated days where I'm on daddy duty. Although I still get, work done while watching the kids, but
yeah, I've seen some cool videos where your kids have been doing some filming with you.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
They love technology, man. They're totally and Louis been grabbing the guitars on the wall too, which is a good and a bad thing, because he's he could damage them, but he knows that they're tools and they're very valuable. And Betty just sings.
Yeah.
It's
That's
cool,
awesome.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one thing I saw, she had one of your phones, and you were playing that Showbud Steel.
Oh yeah.
And she was wandering around
Yeah.
the house.
She walks to the
Comes
stairs.
in, there's
Yeah.
Dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, I gotta get Betty. Yeah, they both love to take her around on the steel too. I'm excited to bring the steel from upstairs into the new studio and start practicing it, because largely just been sitting and, I've been tinkering, I know very little on the pedal steel right now, but it's just like there, knocking at the door saying, hey, I'm ready for you, buddy.
I know.
But
I should hook up with you for lessons or something, because I actually have my mom's steel guitar that's just been sitting. I mean, because I don't even know what the hell to do with it.
Chuck, for sure, man. Plug it in, crank it to 11. We'll get some rocking going, man, for sure. Absolutely. Right. What kind of steel is it, man?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. I think it is a Showbud.
The pedal steel?
Yeah, it's pedal steel.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, she got it in like I want to say 1975. So I've got her Gibson, like a Les Paul signature, and then I've got that steel, and the steel is just sitting there, sadly. So anyway,
man, that's sweet, dude. They're pretty valuable instruments.
Yeah. Well, I saw that also kind of following your adventures on Facebook with the studio. So is that going to be part of Bearmark Productions, or is it just right now for you to do some recording, or because you mentioned Desmond Jones? And
yeah, man, it's a multi-layered response, but it's absolutely an extension of my work with Bearmark Productions, which has largely been a booking agency and, sort of music business consulting agency, ran by myself with some friends who have helped over the years on the booking front. And then I've had some internship elements with it, which has been really neat to work with college students and give them an outlet in, the real world music industry. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the business front, it's largely been me, and, juggling the business and the entrepreneurial element and the musician and the artistry and the performer. And now I'm recording too, so, but right. I mean, it's a good, a good thing. But right now, because we're not really gigging, the booking element isn't a thing so much, although you certainly see a lot of people doing live streams, and there are a limited amount of paid gigs that are still physically distant outdoor or, viable in an indoor setting that is safe. But yeah, I've kind of been yearning to shift toward, working in the studio anyway and being home,
cool.
So I can be accessible to the family, and so the kids can be accessible to me, and I can kind of have a better balance with my work and life setup. But, I love touring too. Right. I've also been, really wanting to refine my live performance setup in terms of just working the band up, getting new material in. Mm-hmm. It's largely been a grip and rip it sort of situation, where they're like, all right, boys, I got a gig.
Right.
Here's how much it pays. And, here's the details. And everybody's like, yeah, I'm in. Unless they got a previous conflict, and then I got to call the next guy in line,
Right.
I'm extremely grateful to know enough, really talented musicians that have put the time into learning my material. But I'm just like, really want to have like a show that is just like, incendiary.
Right.
And a lot of that, I love the improvisational element and approach we bring to music and live performance, but there's a lot of the compositional element too, even in the performance setting.
Yeah.
All right, boys, we walk out. we're on, and here's our show,
right?
And here's kind of how we're presenting ourselves, and here's what's going on in between songs, and here's when we get to tune. So make sure you're,
right, ready for that mark.
Go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just a level of professionalism I've been striving for, and so now it's exciting because now I can work at it, work toward it. In like an atmosphere that I feel comfortable in, and not just perpetually interrupted or cut short or whateve it might be. So, but yeah, immediately I'm gonna be recording myself. Cool. For backlog of music, man. I've got a goal of releasing a song every week.
Nice.
It's kind of like I haven't proclaimed it yet, but I mean, I've got more than enough material, and I've got backlog of stuff too. It really wouldn't be too tough, and it'd be good on the business front for building the algorithms and putting out music and building the followers and just really. I mean, in terms of making a living as an independent artist, they say you only need, I think it's like 1,000 followers that really dig your music and will buy your albums and will go to your shows and will keep in touch and listen to you on your streaming platforms.
Right.
So, I mean, 1,000 is a lot of people, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much, like, I think that's an attainable number. And, if I had 1,000 Patreon patrons, even just doing $1 a month, that'd be $1,000 a month. And if they're doing $5, that'd be $5K, and that'd meet my living and operational expenses. So shit, what am I doing, Mark? Let's get to work, So I'm excited for it, but I've been largely, I forget who I was talking with, but just talking about the stresses of having so much on the table, but loving every element, but you're rocking the daddy duty, and you're making do the music, and you're finding ways to pay the bills, and you're kind of on a sabbatical as well, in terms of those elements that you really want to be doing, but you really can't yet, because you got to do these things. But it's interesting, man. But I'm excited, really excited, and
cool.
Just itching at the bits to get it all set up. And recording wise, I know enough about recording from home that I am recording my own stuff for the collaborations I'm doing for the overdub session work, and send it to another engineer. They put their masterful work on it, and sounds a lot better. But in terms of raw files, hey, maybe it's not that tough, and I know how to do the basics now, so it's not too much learning, too much of a learning curve on that front, from the engineer perspective. Once you start doing more edits, and once you start doing mastering,
once you start getting into that,
more layers. But I kind of like the educational component of it as well. And from the business perspective, I'm trying to find a partner who will join forces and kind of be the engineer, so they can always be on, even if it's just me, so I can just be the artist and just be laying down tracks while someone's back there. That's like ideal world, but we need to get some capital to really get that flowing
there.
But yeah, man,
cool.
Just a lot, and just kind of like I don't know, a long-winded answer.
It's good.
A lot going on. But
well, that's good. I'm glad you're staying busy, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to flip it over to the fans to see if they want to ask a question. So I don't know. Let's Jacob, you got a question for Mark?
Oh, what program are you using in the studio?
In the studio right now, I'm using Logic
on
my iMac. But I'm going to be investing soon into some Apollo gear, which is kind of state of the art. Steve, what's up with that. So at that point, I think it comes with some like a DAW of its own. I forget what it's called, but I'm sure it'd be better than, Logic. Not that Logic isn't good, I find it to be pretty user friendly, but ultimately I want what's most universal, and if there's ways to get around the universality of it, into just bouncing like audio files instead of projects, you can make a number of things work. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of getting my feet wet there too, learning more about that. But right now, I'm using Logic.
Cool. Steve, how about you, man?
Yeah, well, I'm curious. I know you're a brilliant multi-instrumentalist, and your love, I guess, is the dobro. What got you interested in that instrument?
Into the dobro?
Yeah.
It just kind of came out of happenstance. I was in the band in the school band, the middle school and high school band from 6th to 9th grade. And then I didn't re-up after that because I was a scholar athlete and my priority was sports, in school and grades. And music was fun for me, but not, I wasn't trying to be first chair, I was just having fun and trying to serve the best, serve the team. And, but my band director didn't really like me because I wasn't, like all the other band members that were trying to be first chair and not athletes. And so I didn't go back there, but at the end of my, hey, quiet, sit.
Must be on the interview too.
Yeah. At the end of my sophomore year, having been out of band for a year, one of my best friends from wrestling, actually, as it happens to be, asked me to be in his senior year project, and the band was called Frisco de Niro. And I was playing drums, and so I played drums with him for 2 years, been fiddler of Winter Sessions. So then we eventually started Winter Sessions, which was the first band I was a part of. We were just, really good friends who all started playing music together, but 3 really good writers. Like they all went to college for writing and just wrote really lovely songs. And I was, the multi-instrumentalist, but one day Ben was like, hey, you want to hold on to my resonator? It's a Fender resonator guitar, and it's a round neck, not a square neck like lap style, And I just started playing. I loved the sound, and the band at the time we were all just playing acoustic guitar, and then I ended up just kind of like, well, I mean, we should probably have some diversity. So I started playing that, and then my buddy Russ started playing banjo, and then we got a mandolin in the mix, and all of a sudden we're a folk band, self-proclaimed rebels of Michigan folk grass, I believe, was our headline for the booking. That's why I did my first booking, man. I tell you what. I was like, all right, all I need is a band, and I'll find the places that have live music. And that's what I did, until it was like full time. But
that's crazy.
Yeah. So then eventually I, stumbled onto Joe Wilson and Drew Howard, and, learned what a square neck resonator was and started playing that, and have since, actually gone back and learned round neck on, like hollow body slide playing, or hollow slide, bottleneck guitar playing on round neck guitars. And now I'm starting to get into pedal steel, which those 2 elements of the slide family, because like dobro is a slide thing, and there's the lap steel, and then there's straight steel, which is a console steel, non-pedal. And then there's pedal steel with pedals and knee levers, and then there's, bottleneck, round neck, acoustic guitar or electric guitar playing. But I just always stayed away from those other styles of playing because I didn't know them, and then I just started tinkering. I was like, oh, that's dope. oh, that's how you do it. Oh, I just got to practice more. Oh, okay. So
do you still have your mule?
I do as of now. I mean, I'm selling it, but I don't want to sell it. It's one of those conundrums where I kind of need the money, but I know I'm going to get money soon, and I don't really need the money.
Right.
But I kind of really want the guitar, you know, because it's so unique.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Why? You know someone interested?
No, I guess I'm a brother in arms with mule. I have a mule. I have number 127.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
it's not it's just resonator style. It's not because is yours a square neck?
Yeah. Square neck
really
with a metal, metal body, but a wooden neck.
Oh, okay.
He made like a Weisenborn style wooden one or metal one for Ben Harper that I put a video out. What's that?
They're killing them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He won't make the metal like the one he did for Ben Harper. He won't make those anymore for whatever reason. But they're killing up there, man.
Oh
I love what he's doing.
Dang. Yeah, no, they're doing so good. I'm so happy for them, and
good guy.
I mean,
Great
an
guy.
exemplary model, from a artisan business standpoint for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Very cool.
So, Rick, did you have a question?
Yeah. Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. I like that the folk grass phrase. I've not heard that before. That's kind of a cool description. I'm interested. I enjoy artists that have a wide range of the kinds of music. They just love music. It seems like that's the kind of person that you are. And people like Lyle Lovett, one of my favorites, who goes into everything from folk to country to a gospel, even just great stuff. Yeah. But I'm curious how you arrived at that. Where if I'm indeed correct, is it just exposure as a kid to all different kinds of stuff, or is it just one artist leads to another artist that you're interested in and leads to different kinds of music, or people you're playing with, or all of the above, or whatever?
Yeah. No, thanks, Rick. That's a good question, bud. Every artist again has their different path toward realizing, I guess I do want to play music, and I guess I do want to try and make money from playing music. But I just have always been, before I played any music, I was just a fan of music. There's always a soundtrack in my life at any given point in time, and had a very diverse collection of music playing throughout my youth, from Black Sabbath to Led Zeppelin and Bruce Springsteen, and then my first CD ever was a single that Snoop Doggy Dogg World. It's a Doggy World or Doggy Dogg World from the that one iconic album. And then Bone Thugs and just like the West Coast rap scene, and just always listening to the radio and just digging into music, and it's just always kind of on the periphery, but in playing it was fun. My brother was the drummer, which is why I wanted to play, and got into band, and was also an athlete, which is why I did that too. But then my dad was playing, sheds the guitar. He's just a classic rock connoisseur and has riffs for days. And there was always really nice guitars around me, but I just never. They're too challenging to play. It's hard to push down. I don't know where to put my fingers. There's 6 strings. Nah, I'm good. And then my senior year, I started picking on the acoustic guitar. And I was like, kind of stumbled on a riff. And, at that time, I was playing, you know, with my buddy Ben Fiddler, who was part of Winter Sessions. They wrote the song on Lindsay Lou and the Flatbellys Ionia album, Sometimes. Woman needs a man, sometimes. That's a
That
Ben
you
Fiddler
sing, by the way, right? You sing that
I
song.
sing it. I sing it I sing it with them, and I sing it with my band too now. But I mean, I sing a number of Winter Session songs. That's actually one of the things I'll be doing this year is putting out a Winter Sessions greatest hits played and produced by me. And then, you know, just releasing a bunch of the back end material that we have that is only on Bandcamp right now. But yeah, like with Winter Sessions, they were definitely all my buddies there introduced me to all different sorts of music, from, you know, the folk and bluegrass music to singer-songwriter music to Bela Fleck and the Flecktones, you know, classic rock, you know, the Dead, you know, and I never really had a taste for these bands before, and it hadn't largely been exposed to them. Mabel, come here, girl. You want to go outside? But yeah, you know, like through them, I just started playing the music, and after the band dissipated, I did a few tours with Michael Beauchamp before he was playing with Red Tail Rain, and you know, eventually started playing with Lindsay Lou and Flatbellys, and we started just touring everywhere. Started my own band a few years into touring with the Flatbellys, and yeah, just have made a life from music, and still have so many different influences. I mean, the music I'm listening to now, or not now, but I mean, that I find myself listening to every day is mostly in Spanish. Yeah, really? Like Andres Calamaro is one of my all-time favorite artists.
So what style of music?
I mean, he does, again, talk about diversity. He's, you know, most known for being, you know, a rock and roll star, you know, Latin rock and roll star. But his songwriting is just impeccable. Great songwriter. He's an incredible performer. He plays piano. Great producer. He's produced so many great bands, and has put out albums, yeah, from like Latin jazz and folk and to traditional and rock and roll, to like tangos. You know, he's from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Cool. So.
All right, cool.
Can you repeat the name of the guy? I couldn't.
Andres Calamaro, Andres Calamaro, like calamari, but it's like
easy to remember.
It's like how I describe my last name, Lavengood, like lavender, but good.
So I mean, I love your story, Mark, because it's like you just started playing music, and then all of a sudden, like, well, you know, we're going to start playing bluegrass folk. So, okay, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And then you just delved into it, but you've got this melting pot of all this stuff that's inside of you, but it's still getting directed out through kind of a folk bluegrass front. Although I know that on your albums, you get some crazy stuff in there that kind of mixes those elements around. But yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, one thing about bluegrass in particular is that it just trains you to drill melody, harmony, break back tempos, you know, really intricate picking, you know, on the vocal front too. Which like crosses over into, you know, country and western and rock and roll and, you know, swing music. And, you know, so there's a lot of like alternative, like corresponding wavelengths that, not alternative per se, but, you know, it just like they can cross over from one genre to the next. And,
I think of it as the heavy metal of country music, because it's like got that energy of metal, but it's country, you know, it's got a little bit of an attitude to it sometimes, you know, so I think that's cool.
Totally. Absolutely. For sure.
Jacob, do you have any other questions? Oh, you're muted.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's talk about tunings. What are your favorite tunings? And does it vary, like when you're on a dobro versus like a lap steel or anything like that? I don't know if that's too nerdy of a topic, but
Yeah, that's
No,
a
it's
great
good.
topic, man. Definitely nerdy, but a great topic.
Good question. I'm interested.
Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, you know, dobro's almost always tuned to open G, GBD, GBD. There's a few different open tunings of G. I think the electric guitar tuning is like D, G, D, G, B, D. Is that what it is? D, G, D, G, B, D. Yeah. Which is pretty cool too. Just totally different. And you could throw that on a dobro as well, but I mean, dobro is definitely generally tuned GBD, GBD. And then you can also tune it to like an open D. I really like that. Or capo it to an open E. But the interval there is, you know, if GBD is 135, 135, open D would be D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. So
that's my favorite.
1-5, 1-3-5, 1, which is really cool. That's a great lap steel setting. I usually keep that solid for my lap steel. A lot of like dobro players will use GBD for their lap steel too. But I mean, you just want to play like the dobro likes, you know. But I definitely tend to be in the open D element there. On my 8-string next, I usually do like a C6, which is similar to the dobro, but has a 6 in it. So it's like 6, 1-3-5, 6, 1-3-5. So I have my 1-3-5 on top, but it has a 6 in it right before it too. So it gives it that, you know, that slide shit, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Steve, how about you? Any questions?
Me? Yeah, actually. So, is there an artist out there that you would drop everything to go play with, to go jam with? An artist or a group? Who would that be?
An artist, or what was that?
Or a group? I mean,
oh yeah, artist.
Yeah,
man, dude, fuck, so many. You know,
you only got one. An asteroid coming to Earth, and you only got time for one. Who's it gonna be?
Shit. No. What? You know, I always love picking with my brother Billy Strings, man. You know, that's about one of the most ultimate sort of highs you can get with, you know, the scene nowadays, you know, in terms of bluegrass and just improvisation and, you know, the jam element, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, that being said, one thing that I am trying to also promote myself as eventually once live shows start to be a thing, but even still in the meanwhile, you know, in terms of remote collaboration, you know, everybody's still recording and releasing music. And, you know, if I have this professional quality studio at home, I can do all my stuff from home and send it, you know. So like, how do you bridge the gap between saying, hey, band or artist, I like your stuff, you know, would you want me to collaborate on any tracks? You know, here's kind of examples of the music I played. And this is actually an approach I've taken before. I started to implement last year, right before, you know, everything, you know, went to shit, you know, come March 10th, I think.
Right.
But yeah, I was seeing pretty good success rate in terms of people saying like, hey, cool stuff. Yeah, let's do something. But, you know, it's like turning that, yeah, let's do something into, okay, here's a paid opportunity, you know, and it doesn't always have to be paid, you know, starting off, you tend to make less and do more pro bono stuff. And, you know, if you see a value in that, then that's great, you know, and if not, then you got to pass, which is fine too. Because there's a lot of other people who might do it for free. But yeah. So, dude, what does a band sound like that I really like? But also, like, how could I contribute to that? That's the ultimate thing. So one strategy that I'm trying to implement to bridge that gap is just record me playing these instruments on top of previously recorded stuff, but it doesn't have a dobro, or it doesn't have an upright bass, or it doesn't have the drums, or the mando, or all these things that I can play, proficiently, and then I record that and release it and tag the band and say, "Yo, band, what's up? Knock knock. I'm listening to you. You seeing this? I'm playing shit. Let's do something." So that's one thing, and like I said, man, I was like, and it's funny because I speak Spanish and I study business. Sorry, I'm trying to get that. And I do have an affinity for like Argentine rock and folk, culture and music in general. And so I've kind of been like pitching myself to a lot of, these artists who I'm like huge fans of, have been for my life. I mean, they're huge, like commercially successful Latin artists. They have no reason to respond to a direct message from me on Instagram, but they do. And it's not just their team, or maybe it is in cases, but, in others not. But in most of the cases, regardless who it is, I'll be like, "Hey, love you guys as shit, would love to collab. Here's a bunch of videos of me playing different instruments, send them a dobro video, mando video, bass video. And usually they're like, "Hey, man, this is great. Let's do something." En español, claro, pero yeah, it's really sweet, man. I was going to go down to Uruguay last year, or I guess earlier this year, but then everything,
Well, as soon as the pandemic's over, you can head down, man.
I mean, the potential and the opportunity is still there. It's not going anywhere. So that's a positive thing, really. It's, like ever since that conversation, like literally we were like video FaceTiming on Instagram, me and this dude, who's got this ranch and studio down in Uruguay and whatnot, and wanted to bring me down for these sessions. But yeah, so like we're talking and I'm like, "Oh shit, this is real. I gotta get my shit together. I gotta start actually practicing. I gotta do these things I've been, saying I can do." And so since then, for about a year, I've been kind of just like keeping my chops up, not doing the amount of practicing that I would like to be doing, but still playing every day and getting some sessions in and lessons in here and there. And now, I'm, just every day, just active and trying to hold myself to that standard. And, if I can hit 50 songs released next year, that'd be huge, that'd be big.
Yeah, that'd
be big, whatever it would amount to, it would be a lot more than releasing 0 songs this year,
That's right. Well, and you can, now that you've got the studio happening, you can have him come up,
Dude,
whoever the artist is down in Uruguay.
Be like, "Corcho, man, come visit me here in Coral, Michigan, bro. We'll have a good time." He will eventually, man. That's the thing. It's crazy. Crazy to think about. Man, I know.
Rick, do you have another question?
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. It's interesting to me. Growing up in the '70s, it was, a rock star, a musician making a living was all about getting radio play and selling albums, and now it seems like, you mentioned your business, you're studying business. It's like you're required to be a businessman, an entrepreneur, a social media person. And I'm wondering how much it takes away from, is that fun for you? Or are you like, I just want to play music. I don't want to deal with this stuff.
No, man, dude, that's a good point, Rick. Honestly, I am working to the point where I don't have to do any of that stuff, you know, where, and it's, you know, it's kind of, you kind of have to like earn that position where you have the team who's doing all the work for you, you know, because I mean that, you know, Billy Strings doesn't become Billy Strings without, you know, his manager and the team that he's got with him. But, you know, he's an artist and is so captivating, and he's got an incredible story, and, you know, he's got drive like any other, and he's working so hard, you know, so it's like a perfect combination. But yeah, you know, like at the same time, he's paying probably upwards of 50% of his like total gross, you know, for that work. And it's a lot of money, but I mean, when you don't have to do that work and you can just have your peace of mind, that's great. But until you're bringing in the sort of money that, you know, someone like Billy is, you know, it's hard to warrant that expense. And so, yeah, man, like definitely would want to be doing less of the business and more of the artistry. And that's actually kind of what I've been flipping my schedule toward, is doing more just creativity, you know, and you do, like, at this point I've gleaned all the information, and I went to business school, you know, so I kind of had it. And, you know, I do have the entrepreneurial spirit. It's, you know, in my blood. All my family members have owned restaurants, and just, you know, done good and done bad, you know. But, you know, kind of like made a living on their own terms. Not all of them, but, you know, a lot of them. And like nobody has done it with music, you know, and I didn't really find too much overt support, you know, through the family structure until I started, you know, actually, you know, making a living. And people were like, well, what are you doing, Margie? I was like, well, I'm making music and touring the world, you know, paying bills, and that's what I do. But yeah, when I was with Lindsay Lou and the Flatbellys, that was largely, you know, I was able to live just the artist life. I, you know, didn't have to hustle anything other than what we were doing together, and there were 4 of us working together, you know. But I mean, you know, like I said, like there's a lot of money that goes into the operation of it all. And, you know, for me, because I know how to do it all, I'm able to do it well. And I was getting pretty decent pay, you know, and I was paying my band pretty decent, you know, and it was working out. And it was kind of getting to the threshold of, like, you know, bringing on a team or building a team, or pitching myself to other agencies, you know. But then I started Bearmark Productions, and so I was trying to like build the company, you know, but it was just like, just too much on my plate. Very stereotypical me, you know. So like now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, here's where I'm at. You know, you can pivot at any point in time. You don't have to be proud or ashamed of anything, you know. And if, you know, the business company falls and, you know, it goes to shambles, but your artistry can grow because you're just recording yourself and putting it out. I mean, at the end of the day, I can do that. I can put out a song every single day if I wanted to, you know. And it would be of various quality, but like at the same time, honestly, like I could whip out a really good sounding 2-minute song a day, you know, like whether improv or cover or, you know, no lyrics, just instrumental, you know. And like,
well, I definitely like the idea of doing a song a week, because that sounds like a great project. That sounds like really
that's
cool
something
project.
that, you know, I can like really refine and add the layers, you know. But yeah, you know,
and, bring somebody in the studio with you, and, you know, do a mix up with somebody, do some crazy improvisation with some folks. Every week could be an experiment. It sounds awesome.
Man, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, I've even got like a list of you know, goals of, you know, where do you start? Like literally I've got like a backlist of like 30 songs that need to be fleshed out, you know, and of them I've got the songs that I really, really like, you know, so I'm thinking I should probably start there, you know, but I mean, just organizing it all is part of the equation, you know. It's even just on the music front, there's a lot to manage, and so I have been trying to cut it back, even though it may seem like I'm, you know, still kind of operating on a lot of cylinders. But yeah, in terms of holding myself accountable to playing music and putting music out, I'm pretty much like started turning the key. Yeah, cool. I'm super pumped. Super pumped. Awesome. It feels good too. It feels really good. Like just, I mean, having this conversation with you guys, you know, we're live, you know, and we all have our connections and we have the shows that we've shared together, and it's reinvigorating, man. Thank you, Chuck, for putting this together and you know, assembling the space.
No problem, man. Glad you could make it. So that kind of segues in, because I need to wrap up, unfortunately, you know, and I'm so happy you guys are part of the show. I just got one last question for everybody, and that's, if you could go to a show right now, where would that be? So anywhere in the world, you can just pop off, like, you know, shows are up. So for Mark, you want to play somewhere, where would you go?
Oh, damn. If I was playing or if I was going to a show?
If you, either way, I mean, so you could do playing.
If I were going to a show, it would be going to see. Oh, damn! I want to say Tedeschi Trucks Band at Red Rocks.
Awesome.
Yeah, and if I were opening for a band, it'd be probably Tedeschi Trucks Band at Red Rocks.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. That sounds great. All right. Jacob, how about you, man? Where would you go? Either see a show, or you play guitar too, so where would you go play?
Oh, yeah, I would. I don't know. Does it have to be like?
It could be anywhere in the world.
Music festivals. It's all hypothetical. Yeah. Like, I wish it was September and I was at Wheatland.
All right.
But playing or just listening, that'd be cool.
Fantastic. Yeah. Sounds good. Steve, how about you, man? Where would you go see a show, and who would you go see?
Oh, wow. So initially I was thinking Red Rocks, but you know, Mark took that. But listen, where's that cave that's down in was it Kentucky or something like that? Where they play, what is?
Yeah.
The Bluegrass Underground spot.
Yeah,
man. I forget where exactly that is, but that would be really sweet.
That would be pretty wild.
The Caverns.
Yeah.
And right now, it's kind of funny. My musical tastes are all over. Right now, and I'm very fortunate to have worked for him at the Arc, but Ariel Posen.
Oh, cool.
Nice, man.
Oh, gosh, he's something.
Totally.
He's a mule brother.
Yeah, right? For sure. He's got his mule caster.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's beautiful. What is it? Seafoam green colored?
Yeah, well, he's got a couple. He's got one that's pink, but it almost faded to white, and then a blue one.
Awesome.
But him and Joey Landreth are just amazing to watch.
Awesome.
Just amazing.
Cool. And so, Rick, how about you, man?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. It seems like maybe I'm just getting old. I don't dig the big venues anymore. I'd rather go to the Arc or somewhere like that. I've always wanted to go see somebody at the Ryman. I've seen videos of shows of of people at the Ryman. Yeah. Maybe Jason Isbell at the Ryman or something like that. I would love to see that. Just the historical and all the great people that have gone through that place. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. So I'll tell you guys what I would like. I'd like Mark and Sturgill Simpson to come over to my house.
Oh, damn.
And then just jam and hang out. That's my dream right there.
Wow.
If you need somebody to carry your guitar case, I'll be the guy.
Yes. Carry the call in, man.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you need some dobro on that fucking Cutting Grass album, man. I didn't hear too much of it. Right?
I know. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Sturgill, we're calling you.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys, for joining me. So happy to see your faces, virtually. Can't wait to see you guys live in person so I can hug and squeeze on you. So
Absolutely.
Totally.
Right. Thank you, Chuck, for everything that you do for the music scene around here. It's awesome. Thank you, Mark, for
cool.
taking the time.
Really cool.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. Jacob, Rick, appreciate you guys.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Be
guys.
well.
Yes.
All right.
Chuck, cheers, brother.
Yeah. Cheers, man.
Guys.
Take care.
Love you, boys.
Thanks again to the mega talented and super cool Mark Lavengood, along with fans Steve, Jacob, and Rick, for joining me on this episode of Fans with Bands. Be sure to check out one of Mark's upcoming live stream shows or go spin some of his music on the Fans with Bands Spotify playlist. Mark is hard at work putting together his new studio, and I can't wait to hear the magic that's going to come from the Bear Den. See the show notes for all the details and links. These are tough times for everyone in the creative industries such as music. Your support of live streaming, purchasing music, and merchandise is critical. If you can help out your local artists, please do. If you are in the Michigan area, consider following the Playing in the Detroit Area Tonight Facebook page. It is a place for fans and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show and leaving a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jams.